Hello everybody, this is going to be your introduction to your first big project. Remember, you have 3 projects this semester that you have to finish to pass the course. Your first project will deal with Photoshop and you'll be making a composite. So a composite is just um, an image made of other images. Um, and we'll be creating this dreamscape composite in Adobe Photoshop. Um, so you'll be using found images, and there will be videos on how to find free images. You'll be creating images, so we learned how to take some good photos for our kickoff project, so you can utilize the skills you learned in that for this composite. And you can also use, like, if you enjoy drawing and things like that, into your Photoshop Dreamscape composite. So to get started, the composite can be, like I just said, with free stock imagery, photos created by you, drawings created by you, and you can utilize all of the tools in Photoshop to create digital drawn elements. The composite must include a sense of place, a living thing, and something that the composite uh, makes, or an element that makes the composites appear surreal. So the composite must have a minimum of 5 image sources. 2 have to be created by you. So that is an important thing. If you don't include 2 images created by you, you will lose points. So once you have an idea, begin sketching. 1 or more of your sketches should be shared in our feedback discussion, and you don't really need to worry about your drawing skills. We just kind of need to know what compositions you're thinking about and what elements you're thinking about. And then you're going to piece together your composite using techniques demonstrated through course lectures, and you're going to pay special attention to seamless element integration and proper image resizing. So you want to make sure that these elements in your composite really look like they could live together. So you can see in this one by one of my students, Amber, these things really look like they could be a real scene. We have her reflection in the water. We have the shadow she created around the ridge. And we just have a sense of perspective. So you need to think about these elements that we've learned with our design, our art and design elements of composition that we've already talked about, and how would these things relate together in real life? Do they have a shadow? Do they need to be stretched a certain way? Um, and then you will have 2 different discussions. The first one will be your sketch discussion, so that will be due next week, and you will be critiquing each other's sketches, and you'll get some feedback from me about how this could make your project better, or if you're good to go to start creating as you learn the skills in Photoshop. And then you'll have a critique discussion at the end of the project, and you're required to participate in both. The discussion post will have more details and a grading rubric on the actual discussion assignment page. Um, and then please see the detailed grading rubric at the bottom of this assignment to see how you will be graded for this project. This project has to be completed in Adobe Photoshop to demonstrate that you have learned the necessary skills practiced in class. Completing this project in another program could result in a failing grade. That's really important. This is where this video will fit in. And these other videos are just quick on this assignment page, so you can come back to them. They're actually in the modules as you keep going throughout Module 3 and Module 4. Here are some more student examples. We're going to be looking at examples today in this video, and yeah. And there's an example of a reflection for this project. So the learning outcomes for this project really match up to what you've seen in the syllabus and at the beginning of the course. Turning in your project, you need to make sure you turn in the complete list of deliverables below in the requested format. You will lose points if you do not put your files in the correct format. And you will need to attach each deliverable separately and don't send a zip file. Again, you have to turn in all the projects to pass this course. When the submission window closes, it is over a week late. So you need to see your syllabus on how to submit late work and any related deadlines for the course. And as soon as you submit this project, you need to go ahead and do the critique discussion so you don't forget. So the deliverables for this project are sketches. Even though we're doing a sketch discussion, you will also be turning in your sketches. Towards the middle of the project, we'll have an in progress screenshot, which we will show you how to do. And it needs to include the full screen of you using Adobe Photoshop. You'll have a final project file, which will be JPEG, and we will talk about how to save your project and set up your project and all of that, don't worry. And then another project reflection submitted with your work. So here's the rubric you should go over before getting started and submitting. And now we're going to look at some examples. So this is all we're really expecting out of you for your sketch. You can see it as a stick person. It just has some elements. But when you're doing your discussion, please clarify some of these elements if you do this quick type of sketching. So here are some examples of dreamscapes by professional artists. They've used Photoshop to create these, and you'll learn how to use the tools to mask out certain areas, to add in and subtract certain parts of photographs, all of that. You'll also be able to learn how to add certain colors to only certain layers. And I know that I'm using some language that you might not use if you're not familiar with Photoshop, but all of this will make sense as you learn how to use the program. So this is using photographs and then some drawings overlaid on mountains and color adjustments to these layers. So I think this one is really successful because it does have that believable perspective. It's how an actual ocean scene would look. We have this horizon, we have this sky that meets it, and we have interesting elements that take us in and out of what an ocean landscape might look like. This one has perspective just like we saw in the student example at the beginning of the video. Everything is pointing a way that we would normally see it in real life. They are just all in one photo together. We have this reflection that adds a sense of realness to this surreal composite. I think things that can make your composite look surreal are a sense of scale, right? This is a very close-up photo of something tiny, but we've added a human, which is regularly much more large than a matchbox. So here are some student examples. A lot of these include drawn elements. If you do not want to use drawn elements, you don't have to. Just utilize more of your photography skills that you have from the kickoff project. I think this one's interesting because she's put this overlaid texture of a canvas over the entire image, even though there are different photographic elements um, and painterly elements. She's put this one filter over the entire composite. So adding shadows is a really smart way to make your composite believable, but still using surreal elements. So those are some examples. We've talked about how to submit your deliverables and how to find the videos for the module. So if you have any questions at all, please don't hesitate to reach out. Yeah, the lecture videos are by our very great professor Leslie Doyle at IUS. They are so helpful, so I'm excited to see what you all make.